I love that dress. Right. Yellow's my favorite color. Right there.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, I've been watching
I love that shirt. Red's also my favorite color. Let me guess. Your name is cute and your name is
no
pretty.
shot.
Hey, two more. There we go.
Whoa! Whoa!
Excuse me, ladies.
What? Hey, don't get involved in that. Hey, don't get. Oh! What the hell are you doing? Don't get involved. Hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Nobody. Good. Oh, come here. Hey, don't you talk about my mama.
Oh,
now, what did I tell you? You talked about my mama.
Oh, crap. Stop! She's got
Run, buddy, run!
Looks like your friend's got himself in a mess of trouble.
Well, I tell you this every night. Now, who's this lady?
And now he's walking towards the trouble.
How are you, man? Oh, God! Oh, God! I think it broke.
All right.
My hat.
Stop right there and fight me like
No, buddy, don't do it.
What the?
No.
Oh! How did you do? Oh!
Now, nobody messes with my hat. Get away from me. Oh, my God.
Well played, ninjas. Well played.
We've had a couple mishaps here and there, but we've triumphed. First off, I want to say thank you to you guys more than anything. Without you, my senior project would not have happened. Not going to cry. What we're going to do now is I'm going to do a little step-by-step so you guys can see how they can be fixed properly. And just make it fun. Trenten Henderson and Kyle Grover. They started off their fight with a basic chokehold. Whenever you have a chokehold, the main purpose of what you have to do is when you have your thumbs, you'll actually press up into the chin. So the only pressure you're going to have is on the tips of your fingers. So instead of choking him straight this way, you push up and you straighten back back. So it's really up to him, especially if he grabs your wrist, if he pulls up on him. He has control over where his head is going and where he's flinging. Kyle does nothing but let Trenten move him. You guys will move forward. Show them chokehold. Just how it breathe. So as you can see, Trenten has his hands on Kyle's hands. And he even places them over Kyle's hands so that if Kyle's hands are getting too tight, he can loosen them up himself. So their next move, when he jumps on his back, Trenten, we had a slight problem the first time we did this, and it also helped me remind myself that whenever you're doing something as simple as jumping on somebody's back, you always have to just bend at your legs, because if you bend forward, the person topples over, and they did a couple rolls, which is not what we planned on doing. So go ahead and jump. Hold them. Now, what they have is Kyle has all of his weight on his elbow. All of his weight is here. All he's doing is lightly putting his hand on his other shoulder so that there's actually no choking involved. It's just all his weight is on his arm. So whenever Trenten lifts him off, he lifts him wrong. So Kyle has control of his own arm and when he drops. Next move, the hand. Whenever you're using a prop, a lot of times it's extremely dangerous because you have to get really close to the person, but you really don't want to hit them with the object. So we played around with a couple of different ways of whether we smash them from right to left or straight up. We decided to go the straight up one because Trenten is down, and since we're like in a proscenium seating, it is easiest for angle-wise to just have the person who's has the weapon to be like in front. had like a three-quarters thrust, you would have to do your different angles from every different way. The easiest was to do proscenium in such a short amount of time. I'll show them from the side what it would look like. Now, Kyle also, in order to make that sound of when you hit the face, he actually smacks it with his own hand. So it looks like he's hitting his face, but he's actually making the sound himself. It's a kind of an object nap. You guys want to do that again, facing the other way? Good job, and you kicked the bucket. Thank you. The next move was whenever, Kyle has a hold of Trenten. Whenever he has him in his chokehold and Zac comes up behind him, you start by choosing which way your person is turning, and he wanted to turn him that way so he kind of follows through in his punch. When Kyle punches him, he's going to aim for this part of his face. But in order to make it look like he's actually hitting him in his face, he comes off to the side to show everybody that he's going across. He'll have to punch through here and then around. So that way it's breaking the sight lines from this angle and from this angle to actually make it look like a roundhouse punch, when in all reality he's punching through his face. You'll show them how that goes. Yep. All right. And also, there's two different naps that you can do with that type of punch. Either Kyle can do the nap himself, or Zac can. It was easier proscenium-wise because you wouldn't see the nap since he was facing this way, or Zac to do the nap. The best way to do a nap to actually make it sound really loud is if you place the tips of your fingers in your palm right here. So it's much, much louder than, like that. Or just like, oh, So, okay. Also, with having great actors that I had, it was a lot of fun to do all this, but we were able to change it up a lot. I left all the improving up to them. They came up with a lot of moves on their own as well, just suggestions, and we kind of worked it through that way. Using another object. Shelley's actually trained in a quarterstaff, so it was very easy. I just kind of had to tell her what to do, and she already knew. If it was somebody who didn't know how to use the quarterstaff, whenever you're aiming for somebody, what she's going to aim is you always make eye contact first. 100%, even if you're getting ready to swing, he kind of gives you a nod or a look. If there's no look, then do not swing because you will smack him in the face and actor down. Bad thing. I've had that happen. It's not fun. When she swings through, you nod. She looks at him. That will give him a chance to duck. She looks at him again. He lifts his head up, and that's how he gets That was how much harder to do in slow motion. Yeah. And so we worked through a couple of different ways of it going up and down or down first, and it was easier of hitting him head first so he could get the momentum to jump up. After that, they run off stage. So you guys can see. Thank you.
Run, little girl, run.
All right. Todd. Oh. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate Todd because Mary got hurt last night, and I had to know this morning that he wasn't going to be able to perform. So I called up Todd panicking, and he came to the rescue and learned this in like 10 minutes. So, thank you, Todd. This move is actually difficult to do depending on how big your person is. Whenever he puts his shoulder on. I'm sorry, that's impossible. What I'll do is what we decided is I'm going to pull his arm and grab him by the back of his arm. So instead of like yanking it or anything, I hold it where I want it to go. I wanted him to bend down so that I could kick. You press so that he sees my foot, swing through, up and over, and you just catch him by like the elbow where your knee is. It's there. Don't do a 10. You ain't going nowhere. Shove him. Alright, go back up. Same with the basic chokehold. For this, whenever you kick someone's foot out, the same with this one. Turn to the side. Whenever I kick for his foot, I just hit his toe. I don't aim at his leg because if I had, I would have given him, like, my heel was on into his shin. So you kick the toe when you come up over, it goes down. Same for this. Whenever you have it here, what I'm going to aim for is this part of his foot. It's going to be in the crevice, so if it actually hits, it's not going to make his foot do anything. It's not going to hit his leg. Kick the leg, go down. I sit down. He throws his arms down. We did this a couple different ways, but in order for him to be able to make a proper nap, he needed his hands back. So we decided to throw those down. When you're doing a kick to the face or any area of the face, eye contact again. I come out, I press so that I can go over his face. When you aim, let's say Todd is right here. When you aim your foot, you're always going to aim just a tad bit above where his head is, because if he forgets to move and he doesn't move, I don't really want to kick my team partner in the face. So move, and then up over. And then same for that. The punch, you come through at an angle, go past his face instead of through the side of his face. Yes. We were originally going to have a cap gun as well. That did not work out so well. So we just had the plain toy gun. Where's your gun?
Don't ever put your gun down, Zac.
I took it away from me. Ninja took it from me.
Why did the ninjas show us with points up?
So Shelley's going to show you the basic way to disarm somebody without actually hurting their hand. Zac's going to point fully straight out to extend his arm. When she turns in, she blocks, grabs a hold of his wrist, underneath his arm. With her elbow, in order to do a contact punch, she hits him right here. So she's going to hit his breastplate, not his ribs, not up high, his breastplate. So when she hits him, he'll go back. She's going to come through slowly.
And I can't do this.
No, we're not.
Okay.
Slow motion.
Slow motion. Yeah.
Shelley will show you how she stands, basically, when you're trying to put the whole weight of somebody else.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. You have to make sure that they're going to be rounding on your hip. And when you lift them, see how he's lifted? It's all right here. And so all I have to do, as women, all we do is pop our hips over and he's on the ground. So lift it up, and then I just pull him up like a sack of potatoes.
The thing with that, too, is whenever he goes over, it's also up to Zac to place his foot down first. Because if you flip someone over and they lay on the ground, a lot of times they'll jar the body. And so it's very important. We had to do it many, many times in order to make sure we knew the right momentum, the right time for him to ever put his foot down before he actually fell. The pistol whipping, what do you want to say on this? So, when you have the gun, she turns it out of his hand. The reason she turns it out of his hand that way is because he can let go of it. So whenever she turns it, he lets go, and you don't have to bend the fingers, you don't have to do anything. When she hits him, you hit him with the gun, you hit him actually not on the clavicle, but you want to hit him right, almost in the breastplate, but right about here as well. So you hit him, bam, he tilts his head back up, and he's down. Yes, thank you guys again very much. We have Odenbrett over here, Eichelberger, Zac Bradley, Todd Manley, Jaclyn Shepherd, and Abby Daggett. Is that correct? All right. Thank you guys so much for coming.
Uh-oh.